Brandon McCullough. Good evening, everyone. Before we jump into tonight's agenda, we're going to start off with a couple recognitions tonight. First up, right here in front, we have our Livonia POM 2026 Division I state champs. And on behalf of the City of Livonia, we are proud to recognize this outstanding accomplishment achieved 4 consecutive years in a row. Your dedication, excellence, and commitment to success are truly commendable. We extend our best wishes for your continued success. Council, would you like to add anything to that one?
Yeah.
Mr. McCullough?
Hey, huge congratulations. We're looking for number 5 and 6 coming forward, right? There's big things. Let's hear it.
All right, we will do a group photo now if you guys want to come in front right here, and I will hand this, and then council will just crowd behind over here. All right, whoever is in front and center, you want to hold this, and then if you want to come back and crouch in front of us, we'll be behind you. Okay, so crouch down a little bit. Like a lot. Palm style. Kneel down, like palm style. Like, sit. Hey, thank you so much. That's yours to keep. That's yours. Yep. You can take turns hanging it at your house. Okay, and then we have one more recognition tonight, and I will hand the floor over to Councilwoman Tashnik.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So tonight, we're going to go from POM to chess. So we have from the Webster Wildcats, the 2026 Michigan Elementary K-3 Chess Tournament champions. So if you could come on now.
Yay!
Right here, guys. That's great. Great. All right. On behalf of the City of Livonia, Michigan, we proudly recognize and congratulate the Webster Wildcats for earning the title of 2026 K through 3rd Division champions. This achievement reflects not only your skills in chess, but also your hard work, teamwork, and grit. We wish you many more victories in the future. So we're going to take a picture with these guys as well. Look at that trophy. That's cool. All right. Oh, there's some. Look at it. Look straight ahead. Look at the cameras.
Kiddos. You got to take that home. There you go.
All right. Not only the medal and the trophy, but you have that now as well. So you guys can share that, okay?
Enjoy, guys.
Great.
Ah.
I think the future looks bright if we have state champions at that age level already.
Yeah. All right, so let's jump right in. Welcome to the 2039th regular meeting of Livonia City Council. This is a voting meeting. Minutes of this meeting will be approved at the next regular meeting scheduled to be held on Monday, May 4th, 2026. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember McCullough.
Here.
Councilmember McDonald. Present. Councilmember Budzinski.
Here.
Councilmember Persicone.
Here.
Councilmember Tashnik.
Here.
Vice President Brockway.
Here.
President Reed.
Here, and we have 7 members present. We'll just give it a couple minutes for everyone to file out. Can't believe they didn't want to stay for a council meeting.
They were adorable.
The fact they can play chess at that level.
I know. They probably beat you. That's the saddest part.
Yeah, I don't know how to play.
And it's like, I do Duolingo. Like, I try to do Spanish, and then it's like kind of quicker. Like,
All right, let's move on to, I will now entertain a motion for the minutes from the regular meeting of the City Council held on April 8th, 2026.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Tashnik, support by Budzinski. We do have a change to verbiage of Council Resolution number 139-26, adopted on April 8th, 2026, to designate and authorize Sergeant Brendan Adams as a signatory of the road closure permit on behalf of the City of Livonia in place of Sergeant Paul Walters. Any comments from council? Anything from the audience? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember McCullough.
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald.
Aye.
Councilmember Budzinski.
Aye.
Councilmember Persicone.
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik.
Aye.
Vice President Brockway.
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye, and the minutes pass 7-0. We will now move on to audience communication. We have set aside 30 minutes of audience communication for anything that is not on the agenda. You will have 3 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record and address all comments to me. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you. Matthew Wilk, 17245 Cameron Drive in your neighboring town of Northville Township. I cannot top third grade chess. I am sorry. I do, however, want to introduce myself. I am the organizer of a group called Not Smart Wayne. We come to let your residents know about a new $570 million tax that is going to be on the ballot this August. This is for SMART, that is the bus system. Recall that for the last 20 years, you had the right to opt out of the SMART system here in Livonia. You did. We in Northville Township did as well. That right was taken away from you. And now this item will be on the agenda for renewal. I wanted to bring to the attention of the public some facts about this $500 million tax and where it goes. First of all, and all of this can be found on our website, www.notsmartwayne.org. We did a calculus to find out exactly how many people are on the average bus. The SMART proudly announces that they have 48 million and some passenger miles. That's insufficient to do the math by itself. They hide but give to the federal government the number of vehicle miles. That's like your odometer. It's over 12.5 million. So mathematically, on average, each bus has 3.88 people on it. That's it. That is mathematically irrefutable. You'll see buses driving around. They have their windows darkened, and that's probably why. With such low ridership, addition of buses does not improve traffic. It makes traffic worse because a bus is roughly the length of 3 cars. More potholes because a bus is 6 times as heavy as an average vehicle, and certainly more smog because buses are diesel as compared to cars. A couple other facts you should know about. First of all, there's a pension hold in SMART system that we will all be up for if it passes. $20 to $72 million. The current subsidy for the SMART system is 97%. 3% of their revenue comes from fares. 97% comes from taxpayers. Most important thing, you will get a copy of a pretty map that shows a route. I believe in Livonia, it's Plymouth Road, 7 Mile, and Middle Belt. It's important to note that we compared the 2022 promises that SMART made when they went to Oakland County and what was ultimately delivered. And we found that many of the major routes, many of their promises were not kept 4 years out. They made broken promises about the lines. You can see that the system's not there. Go to please.notsmartwayne.org. You can find out more information. Right now, the only recourse for your taxpayers for their $5.7 million annual outlay is to vote this down, and I urge you to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address for the record, please.
I'm Rhonda Snyder, 15500 Ingram. I'm here to talk about government, and I have a couple quotes. First one is, people's participation is the essence of good governance, and that's by Narendra Modi, who is the Prime Minister of India. And the next one is from Abraham Lincoln. Democracy is the government of the people, by the people, for the people. I am thankful of my fellow Livonia activists, many here tonight, and I am proud to be a bad actor. I'm thankful for the council members who represent us, who listen to our collective voice, who remember they represent us. I'm thankful these council members will vote for us. Government is a trust, and the officers of government are trustees, and both the trust and the trustees are created for the benefit of the people. That is by Henry Clay. Livonians are angry and distrust our government as evidenced by social media and the attendance of council meetings. We demand transparency, we demand communication, we demand respect for our monies regarding taxes, we demand rejection of any increase of our economy, especially in this economy right now. We want to trust our council. We want our council to see themselves as our trustees, here to benefit the citizens of Livonia, not the mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Name and address.
The TVs aren't on.
Okay, thank you. Yep. Name and address for the record, please. You have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Council. Betsy Calhoun, Kimberly Oak Subdivision here in Livonia. I'm here tonight to say how terrified I am, as we all should be, that the renewal millage for our first responders in August will not pass. The city and the police can talk until they're blue in the face to people and explain to them that these are two related or adjacent funding sources, matters for the new station, the millage, that they're separate. But at the end of the day, if the residents feel that the only voice that they have is their vote and that their chain is being yanked, things could easily go sideways. If this happens, we are all skewered. It may be that this is actually the most important inflection point in this whole entire situation. As we know, historically, renewals for public safety has always been a walk in the park for our community. But clearly things are different now. There's a lot going on in the world that has cratered people's faith in their government. It's imperative that we read the room. We must learn from the massive failure regarding the bond issue last year. Like it or not, social media is a new public forum, and it can indeed be an indicator of popular sentiment. Perhaps some of these planning consultation fees should be used for open focus groups where people are truly listened to, or some specialty firm that concentrates on clearly illuminating the development process to encourage voters to embrace a project that a municipality is working so hard on. Remember, optics and transparency have always been really important. Ethics professors remind us that merely the appearance of impropriety is just as significant as actual ethical misconduct. I'm no conspiracy theorist, but I can see how it happens. You recall a few years ago when the CEO of our former trash hauler went to jail for bribery and embezzlement right here in southeastern Michigan. And I can tell you personally, as a city commission member, working earnestly and open-handedly with a major upstanding business concern, the commission was gobsmacked when we found out we were being repeatedly and deliberately lied to. The culprits were properly chagrined when it came out, and they slunk away from that part of the project that required commission involvement. But you can see how people want to trust but verify. The state of affairs we have here reminds me of a wise man's words, Martin Luther King Jr., as a matter of fact. He said, "A riot is the language of the unheard, and we surely don't need a vote riot in August." So think about it. Thank you all. I have another meeting to go to.
Thank you. Good evening. Name and address for the record, please. You have 3 minutes.
Steve King, Coventry Gardens. Everybody knows about April 15th is tax day, but this year, April 15th had another significance. It was the week Detroit made its final payment in its 2013 bankruptcy. And that's how long consequences last when cities get it wrong. Last year I stood before this council, I said 2026 is going to be economically brutal. That wasn't a guess, that was based on patterns we've already lived through, we've seen this before. In 2008, right here in the Metro Detroit region, and indeed in Livonia, layoffs started to rise, hiring slowed, then froze, costs went up, and local governments like ours got squeezed. It didn't happen all at once, it started quietly, and that's exactly what concerns me today. Right now, we're seeing the early signs again. Costs are rising. Families are feeling it at the pump and at the store. I'm paying over $5 a gallon for diesel. Layoffs are beginning to surface, and economic pressure is building across the board. I've heard from all our state reps, everybody who represents in Lansing, and they said, there's no more money. And when it comes to tariffs, Michigan is on the front line whether we like it or not. Our economy depends on auto manufacturing and cross-border supply chains. When tariffs hit, they don't hit once, they hit multiple times before a product is even finished. If tariffs hit anywhere in America, they hit Michigan first and they hit us hardest. Now, let me be clear, this is not 2008. But this is how 2008 started. Not with headlines, not with panic, not with warning signs that were easy to dismiss until it was too late. And that's the moment we are in right now. Because downturns don't announce themselves, they build quietly, step by step. In 2008, cities didn't act enough, they reacted late. Hiring froze, services were cut, and taxpayers were left holding the bag. So the question in front of us today is not whether we can handle a downturn, but are we going to recognize and admit it's happening? Are we going to ignore the warning signs, repeat the same mistake? Because ignoring reality doesn't prevent a crisis, it guarantees we walk into it blind. This is the time for discipline, caution, and protecting taxpayers, not expanding commitments we may not be able to sustain. You don't spend aggressively when the ground is literally shifting under you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Name and address for the record, please. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, Katie Rogowitz, Livonia resident, Burton Hollow 2. Some may know me as Rogue Kate from Facebook, so hello to all the people out there. I would have dressed better, except I went for a run on the atrocious sidewalks that are in the city, dodging cars that park in front of sidewalks and fire hydrants, so it's always fun. I just want to address a few things. Good to see you, Mr. Goldstein. It looks like you're doing well. I wanted to extend my thank you to you and your office for getting with Livonia Police to unblock me on Facebook.
Ma'am, please direct all comments to me.
Oh, sure, no problem. I'll direct them to you. I spoke with you in regards to the sidewalks, in regards to the spree, and all of the campers they set up, destroying them. You said that you were going to get with them to get them to be fixed. They're in pretty bad shape. I just jogged past them just now, so I would hope that you would get on that as you promised when you were running for office. I do want to say that, before I was interrupted, that I was blocked by the Livonia Police Department on their Facebook page. There was a Supreme Court ruling that elected officials and government agencies are not allowed to block their constituents. Okay, so I do appreciate that egregious action was reversed. And to anyone else out there that happens to, make sure you get with the city attorney if any of these people or the police department do block you. That said, I haven't spoken at a meeting in many years. I see nothing's changed. If anything, it's gotten worse. So I'm sure this will be many meetings I'll be coming to. But I am a taxpayer. My taxes keep going up, and yet my services keep going down. Just this past week alone, garbage bins all over the street, cars parked on the grass, blocking the sidewalk, cars with flat tires left in the street for days. They're not moved for months, years even. Livonia Police won't do anything. City ordinance won't do anything. They're saying we can't do anything. Everyone's passing the buck. The ordinance says they're not even allowed to ticket people, which I find to be not only a little bit stupid, but probably a lie. If you want to increase taxes, you guys should be doing what you promised to do in the first place, or you're never going to get us to back you. And so before I run out of time, I just want to say I would have liked to see the mayor here. I'm not sure why she's not at these meetings. I am a bad actor and a not smart person, as she would say. I'm very proud of it. But, you know, I've tried to contact her for years, 6, 7 years to be, 6, 7. Not really sure why she's never gotten with me, whether she doesn't have the decency or the courage, but, you know, if she thinks I'm not smart, I'll challenge her because I have 142 IQ. So call me, Maureen. Have a good night.
Good evening. Name and address for the record, please. You have 3 minutes.
I'm Wayne Snyder, 15500 Ingram, Livonia. I would just, a couple of points. Anytime the City Council is going to undertake an expenditure, a large expenditure, they need to look at and deal with the people who are considering it to be approved. Anytime they find that a majority of the citizens are against that expenditure, they need to look at it and reconsider it, and versus just saying, we know best. And so again, I'm putting my comments to Ms. Freed, because again, I don't want to be accused of not addressing you. The second thing is, any tax increase that we need to put to, that need to go through, even if somehow the law says you can put that, quote, 1%, and maybe 2 or 3, who knows, anytime you can put that through without the approval of the citizens who have to pay it. Remember, that's the key. They have to pay it. I contend that any kind of tax increase should be put to the voters. And if it's a valid tax increase, I'm sure, I have confidence in our voters that they will approve it. And if right now that 1% fee can be passed on without any approval, that needs to be looked at and be stricken and be put, it says it needs to be put by voter approval. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record, please. You have 3 minutes.
Christopher Martin, resident of the great state of Michigan. Recently, I want to talk about the libraries. On Friday, some people call it Good Friday, but on Friday, the library was closed here, both of them. I attend the one on campus here. And Saturday closed also. Sunday was closed for to celebrate Easter Sunday. And both Friday and Saturday, I had to go to the Redford Library, which was open. Now, I've spoken about this type of behavior in the past, and I will never be in favor of any increased spending. Although I'm at the library a lot, it needs a lot of repairs. And but when I have to go to a surrounding community to use their library, and the Redford Library is nice, and it was rebuilt, and it was open during all of the construction that was on that particular building. When I go to the Farmington Community Library on the south side of 12 Mile, they have 38, nice place, 38 computers. We still have 8. I spoke about that more than 10 years ago. The 8 computers that we have at the main branch over here. And also the number of years ago, just to show how out of touch many people are on city council as far as the library system. When Scott Barr was up there on the council, he was there for 8 years. Towards the end of that 8-year period, there was a money that was going to be spent for the resurfacing of the parking lot, one of the parking lots. He didn't even know where it was at. He had to ask Todd here where it was at. And it just shows the lack of knowledge. And besides Scott Barr being 8 years up on council here, prior to that, he was a number of years on the planning commission. Still didn't know where one of the parking lots was for the library. You can't make this stuff up. All you can do is attend these meetings and sit and watch and talk about things that go on and what doesn't go on. So thanks for your time.
Thank you. Any other audience communication? Okay, we'll jump right into council communication. We have new data for item number 17. We also have a very special birthday today. Councilwoman Tashnik, happy birthday.
Thank you. Can't think of anything else I'd rather be doing tonight.
I could. And I also want to give a happy birthday to my next door neighbor who turned 100. And I know she watches these meetings, so happy birthday, Marge. And council, any comments? Ms. Persicone?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to report out on the grub crawl that occurred last Thursday here in Livonia. I've been talking about it a little bit. The Livonia Rotary PM Club put on their first annual grub crawl, and it was a great success. And I do want to publicly acknowledge the participating restaurants that provided the grub that the participants went and ate, all towards charity. So it was O'Malley's, Luigi's, Portillo's, Marco's Cozy Diner, Maya's, the Livonia Italian Bakery, Coffee and Cream, and Sweet 220. So with your help, I think we raised over $4,000 that's going to go to our charitable foundation, and it's going to come right back to the community here. So thank you all. Thank you if you bought a ticket and you participated. It was a great event, and I'm looking forward to doing it again next year.
Ms. McDonald?
Thank you. Thank you, President Reed. I would just like to thank everyone for coming out this evening. I think it speaks loudly for our democracy and how the citizens are engaged and want to be engaged in our community. But I know we have a lot on our agenda tonight, and I am respectfully asking everyone to not get emotional, if that's possible. We all are going to be doing the best that we can. And I would really, truly appreciate everyone. We all have the right to applause and everything else like that. But I would think it would help us as a council to have everyone listen, communicate, and make sure that council gets as much information as possible so we can proceed and go forward on that. And one other thing, we had the groundbreaking today at Sheldon Park. It was pretty awesome. Myself and President Reed were there with the mayor and quite a few other dignitaries. It's good, and we look forward to that proceeding. It'll be exciting. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. Back over here, and Ms. Budzinski. You have something?
Thank you. Happy birthday, Martha.
Thank you.
I want to thank Todd for coming to my coffee hour a couple Saturdays ago. He was a star. He gave a really amazing, informative presentation. A lot of the attendees said how great of a job he did with that presentation, but also just in general the work that the engineering department does. So thank you for your work, and thank you for coming and bringing hot coffee. It was very generous of you, and I appreciate it. Just a note to the audience, I will not be at the next meeting. I'm having a baby on Thursday. I plan to be at the, thank you. May 18th regular meeting. I might sneak out after the study. We'll see how things go. And then I don't have a coffee hour in May, but we'll be back to regular business in June. Kaylee will be my guest in July. Martha will be my guest. So we've got a lot of, fun hangouts at the library in the Michigan room coming up soon. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. McCullough?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to remind everybody that we have on May 2nd a charity hockey game, and especially that everybody is here, get your tickets. You're going to probably see some QR code foam boards going up at Eddie Edgar. Everything's online. I will tell you that we have confirmed an incredible guest to drop the puck. I cannot say just in the event that they don't show, but listen, you can use that like a sales tactic or not. It raises funds for breaking barriers, and it's going to be incredible. We will find out the team that we're playing probably next week. And right now we are another cheesy sales tactic. I always say that it will sell out. This will sell out. The last time we checked, I think about 3 weeks ago, we were already at about 400 tickets sold, and we kind of shut it down at around 700 just to allow people seating and that kind of fun stuff. But it is in May, and we're looking at good weather. I mean, we did have 80-degree days followed by snow, but I'm confident. So make sure you mark your the calendars there. You'll see some more information online. And then second, if Harper, my daughter, is watching, she made a AAA hockey team, all girls hockey team, and they're based out of Louisiana, which is weird. Yes, I get it. And all these girls come together. They played some teams from Alaska. They played the number one team in the country and lost 3-1 in the semis, and it was awesome to see the game grow. She is one of, actually right now, the only girl on the boys' travel team, but the girls' hockey movement's happening, and it's something that's very good. And if you're watching, good job, Harps. The next time, we'll take those guys down. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Tashnik?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Excuse me. I just wanted to give a shout out to our Livonia Police Department. On April 9th, along with Mrs. McDonald, Mrs. Reed, Mrs. Persicone, and I were at the Merit Awards that evening. And I already had a huge appreciation for our police department, but to see the body cam footage of what they go through on a daily basis and to see the life-saving events that occurred and to see them be recognized for that was really, really touching. And I just want to thank them for everything they do on a daily basis. Thank you.
Anything, Mr. Brockway? Okay, and I have one more announcement. The Spree pre-sale wristband vouchers are on sale, but if you know anyone that goes to a school, any purchase made through the specific school link, we give $2.90 back per voucher to the school. So if you're gonna buy Spree tickets, you might as well support our schools. So if you need the list, I'm gonna put it on our website of all the schools, but there's a flash sale on June 3rd. You didn't hear it from me. Okay, so let's move on to our consent agenda. The items 1 through 11 on the consent agenda will be voted on as one item. These items were previously discussed at the study meeting that took place on April 8th, 2026, and determined to be non-controversial. Do I have a motion?
Madam Chair.
Ms. Tashnik?
Yes, I'd like to pull number 8 from the consent agenda, please, and vote on it separately.
Okay.
And then I'll make a motion to approve the remaining items.
Support.
Okay, motion by Tashnik, support by Persicone. We have pulled item number 8 from the consent agenda. Anything from council? Anything from the audience? Good evening. Name and address, please. You have 2 minutes.
Christopher Martin, once again, the great state of Michigan. I was going to speak on this particular one here, number 8. This is in reference to
We're going to do it
Okay.
right after the consent.
That's my question
Yep,
to you. When was that going to be heard?
right after the consent.
I'll see you then. Don't
Great.
go away.
Can't wait. Anything else from the audience? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember McCullough.
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald.
Aye.
Councilmember Budzinski.
Aye.
Councilmember Persicone.
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik.
Aye.
Vice President Brockway.
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye, and the consent agenda passes 7-0. Moving on to unfinished business. Item number 8, this is award of a bid that comes from DPW for the replacement of the HVAC and boiler system at Sandburg Library from budgeted funds.
Madam Chair,
Ms. Tashnik?
I'd like to make a motion to table this item.
I'll offer support.
Madam Chair?
Sure.
Okay. I want to table this item for now. I'm just concerned about putting another $120,000 into this building without a long-term plan for usage and maintenance. I know we've been waiting for kind of a long-term plan on this building. I believe this is part of the building's control system upgrade project, which was passed back in March of '23 by council to update various buildings around our city. In addition to the plan mentioned, how critical, I'm looking to see how critical really is the HVAC and boiler system at this time for this particular building. I do appreciate DPW is doing their job trying to best maintain our buildings, but I really want us to look into the budget for this particular one. I just propose to table this until May 18th to give us a little time to look further into this particular building.
So we had a motion by Tashnik, support by Persicone. Anything from council? Ms. Budzinski?
I'm fine with it being tabled, although I wish we could have somebody from DPW to tell us how far along in the process we have been. I will note that in the past, we've delayed these kind of repairs opposed to tackling them head on. This is from budgeted funds, and the consequence of not having replaced the HVAC system at the Bennett Library cost the city hundreds of thousands of dollars in additional expenses because we needed to bring in temporary chillers. So I do think it is incredibly important that we maintain the infrastructure that we have and the facilities that we have in the city. Our libraries all operate on the library millage. They do not receive additional funds from the general fund. So the monies that are being spent are all intended to be used for library use. And so I do think it is a worthy investment. Thank you.
Ms. Tashnik?
Thank you. And I don't necessarily disagree with Mrs. Budzinski. I just want us to have a little bit time here. Because it is for an HVAC and boiler, we don't need to run it during the summer, so we have a little time. I just want a couple weeks so that we can take a look at what the real plan is for this building and what other maintenance needs to be done. So maybe it can be packaged. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. McCullough?
Thank you. I will not be supporting. I appreciate the sentiments. Usually, we are always in a reactionary system when it comes to the facilities, and we always hear the number of deferred maintenance going up and up and up. And what I worry about is I know our facilities reserve fund is, I've heard numbers at 4 million, I've heard numbers at 7. Either way, those funds have been put in place for issues when things go really bad. And if we don't do these upgrades, the next step could be a huge emergency problem that is going to cost us potentially triple, if not more, on this project. For that reason, I will not support tabling. Thank you.
Ms. McDonald?
Thank you, President Reed. I, too, will not be supporting this motion at all. I think we need to proceed. As Councilmember Budzinski said, this comes out of the library fund. It's not out of our general fund. And the problem with this city as a whole is that we just don't take care of things when they need to be taken care of. It's not, I think, no, please. It's critical to me that if it's being recommended this way, we should just do it. It's not $1 million, but thank you.
Anything else from Ms. Persicone?
Thank you. The only thing I would add to that is, in discussions that we're taking deep dives in the finances, I would just admonish to council members to also consider the fact that every dollar really does count right now with a lot of other projects that are going on. I fully support maintaining our buildings, and I don't want to see what happened to other facilities happen in this building. I want to make that really clear. And I absolutely agree with the sentiments of the importance of maintaining our buildings. I would just say that for now, until we I'm looking for a master plan with our libraries that has not been presented yet. And that, I think this will help to get that and push that forward as well, which is something that we need. It's part of a broader taking a look at our facilities. And I think we need to see something along those lines too, because a lot's changed in the last 3 years with our libraries.
Anyone over here? Okay, Ms. Budzinski and then Ms. Tashnik.
To piggyback on that, if the question being asked is really what is the long-term plan of Sandburg, I don't think we've even scratched the surface on having that conversation at all in the community, to be honest. Obviously there's been auxiliary conversations of do we need one or more libraries, but there's been no action taken on that beyond, lip service. I am personally a supporter of our library system. I personally enjoy going to Sandburg and think that it's important. But I think if we're going to be talking about strategic planning and what happens next, then that is a conversation that should be happening as a body and in committee that invites the library commissioners to join that discussion as well. You'll have to pardon me on this one, but can I offer a substitute motion? Yeah, I'd like to offer a substitute motion then if the question is whether, what is the long-term plans for our library investment in Sandburg in particular, to put it in the Economic and Strategic Planning Committee for a further conversation, if I have support.
We have to be I would support. I'll support
The substitute.
If the real concern here is, are you putting
the master planning committee or the boiler in?
Well, you can't do either. You have to make a motion just to support, and then you would have a separate motion to do, which is fine.
Which is fine. I'll offer support for purposes of the opportunity to discuss.
It's been a long day, guys, so please forgive me. My point is simply, I think we need to move forward with this boiler, but if the question is what are we doing with the libraries as a whole, and your request is really to have a long-term plan, I don't want us to delay on infrastructure. Regardless of whether we use this building as a library or something else in the future, we need to maintain the infrastructure. We need to make sure that it's invested in properly. We can't say we're just not going to invest in a HVAC system and then do what? We still have an obligation to maintain the structure. If the question really being asked is how much more investment are we doing in this building, what is the future of this building generally, and how are we investing in our library system as a whole, again, what we're doing strictly now with the library millage, then let's talk about that in a committee instead.
Point of information, if I may. So my question would be is through the chair to Mr. Goldstein, with this being, and Councilman Budzinski, please correct me if I'm wrong, but you are looking at putting a potential separate item into a committee for further discussion for long-term, which means I would recommend, and with the guidance of our attorney, to say, take that motion off the table.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see where this plays.
Yeah, okay.
And then after, make the motion, right?
I agree, yeah.
Fair. I'll withdraw.
Does support or withdraw?
Support.
Okay. Ms. Tashnik?
Madam Chair, I think some of my colleagues misunderstood my intention here. This was not to get into a debate of whether or not we need branch libraries or the library in general or any of that. This was part of a project upgrade, which was passed back in March of 2023 as just a long-term projection of, do we need to replace the HVAC and boilers in certain buildings? I wanted to know how critical it was for this particular building at this time before we go out and spend $122,000. So I was trying to be more prudent with the finances than I was trying to create a debate on the library itself at this point. That was truly my intention, and that's why I was just proposing. I was actually going to propose to put it on the next meeting, but I know Mrs. Budzinski will be on maternity leave, so I skipped over to May 18th to have that. That is my intent here.
Okay, thank you.
Just to make that clear.
Thank you. Anything else from council?
So that motion is still on the table.
Yep, that motion is still on the table. Okay, we will now go to the audience. Please state your name and address for the record. You have 2 minutes. And this is about the boiler motion to table it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a little confused. Christopher Martin, great state of Michigan. I'm glad you mentioned it was $122,000. Several years ago, young Mr. Donovic, when he was up there, was in favor and put the motion forward for a new roof on on Sandburg, and that was very expensive also. And Sunday, I'm over at the library on campus here almost every day. It's very rare that I'm not there every day, so I'm very familiar with the building. Okay. More so than many of you, okay? But Sunday I held the elevator open for a gal that was using a walker. She had muscular dystrophy, I would guess. But there was a woman that spoke here, audience communication, a couple meetings ago, that as far as being disabled, well, I'm disabled myself. But just a slip and fall away, a car accident away, a health issue away, one of them, possibly more, from being disabled yourself. So when I held the elevator open for her, and I really, tried my best there to help her, is that I really wanted to see the ADA bathroom, money spent for that. If we have a millage and we have something, and I mentioned a couple meetings ago, that I thought Mr. Goldstein, as far as being the coordinator of the ADA, okay, in Livonia, that I thought he was doing a lousy job. Forget the term that I used. But, and you criticized me for that. And that was really warranted because you have done a lousy job as a coordinator of the Americans with Disability Act here in the city of Livonia. You have done a lousy job, Eric. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Good evening. Gerald Karasinski, 19488 Bainbridge Avenue. I frequent the Sandburg Library more than once a week. I looked up in the budget this morning. We budgeted $120,000 to replace this boiler. I remember at the last study meeting, DPW said that this is the best time to replace the boiler when it's not being used. They were getting ready to turn it off, and you would replace it, and then you would have it ready to go in the fall when you needed the heat. The building was, to Mr. Martin's point, just re-roofed. We've spent enough money to keep the building going as opposed to letting it run down like another library that I will not mention. This is not a large amount of money in the city's budget. And I believe that this is well spent. Whether you're going to keep the building or not, you need to have heat in it. And so I would respectfully request that everyone on this council please support and replace this boiler. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Hi, James Crowley, Laurel Park 2 South. And I find it very interesting that we would again, elect to try to defer maintenance on another one of our public buildings. It seems to be a trend, so that now, looking into the future, then we go back and say, well, you know, we have deferred maintenance. Let's look at, is it worth saving? Maybe we should tear it down. That's a trend. Why are we doing that? Because I feel like we want to let these buildings go so that you can sell us on another mill passage so that they can tear these buildings down. Come on now. Let's look at these buildings. It's 120,000. What is the motivation here? I feel like there's more motivation here than just repairing the building. Let's get it done, move on. It's 122,000, and we're not blind, we're not deaf. You know, we understand what's going on here. We have other libraries now that are falling apart, and now they're trying to sell us on the roof over here. You know, the buckets. I mean, come on. Let's keep our buildings. City Hall is deteriorating, so they're trying to sell us on that. I mean, all these buildings, let's get it done and not postpone. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Hi, Cindy Fleming, Livonia. Like Mr. Kierzinski stated, I was also at the study meeting when this was put not on the regular agenda, but the consent agenda, because there was no opposition and no controversy and absolutely no discussion about whether it should move forward. Please think of that first. Number 2, my point is that the Library Commission had a huge study called the Library IQ study. They hired a firm several years ago to do an extensive study. They had a 30-page report out of there recommending how to move forward with the libraries. Nobody has been talking about that. Number 3, as part of the Noble Task Force, I was completely aghast and very ashamed of our city to find out that the Noble building still has its original 1967 HVAC system. It is a shame. We should move forward with this, prevent any other deterioration. We should not be working always in a crisis mode. Please schedule maintenance. It was recommended to be done. It was in the budget. Please move this forward and do it now. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Hi, I'm Barbara Glover. I live in Livonia, Michigan. Like other people, I'm upset to hear that you don't want to pursue maintenance on the Sandburg Library. It brings back a lot of memories of another library named Alfred Noble Library, which now has a big hole in the roof. It was allowed to deteriorate. Nobody fixed it. We even, I think a couple years ago, budgeted money for that hole in the roof to get fixed, and it hasn't gotten fixed. Let's save one of our libraries. That's a classic historical building from the mid-century. We have Greenmead, which is saving buildings from previous centuries. Why can't we start to save something from the founding of our city? I mean, I support Greenmead. I'm a volunteer there, but I think we should look at Sandburg as, instead of a burden, as a resource. Why don't we spruce it up? Why don't we make it into a world-class facility along with this library next door to us here? Like all these other cities have these great buildings. This boiler and HVAC system was approved last week, the last time we met in this council, and there was no discussion, as the woman that spoke just before me said. We do seem to have a trend here that we don't fix our buildings in Livonia. I mean, I grew up in this city, and while I haven't lived my entire life here, it's a shame to see that we're letting so much of our buildings just go to waste, and then we start wanting to knock them down. And it seems like that's kind of the plan that nobody's speaking of, is that instead of doing the maintenance, you secretly stop paying for maintenance so that the building deteriorates even more, so then you can try to get everyone to knock it down. And I'm like, why? Why do you want to knock something down that's a perfectly good building? There doesn't seem to be any major planning going on with the libraries in general. I don't think you should smirk at me when I'm talking. You know, I mean, I'm just saying, I think that's kind of rude. I have a right to have my opinion as well. I pay taxes here. I may or may not have voted for you. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, City Council. Let's remember a time last year when there was a different City Council here sitting, and the idea of a facility manager was proposed and was wholeheartedly thought of as a wonderful idea. Here we are a year later, no position's been filled. So the city relies on its managers to decide what's important and what's not important as regarding city properties. So if the city managers have decided that it's time to replace something, who are we and you to say 2 weeks later that it's not the right thing to do? I understand the money comes out of the library millage. It's not out of the general fund. It's out of money that was appropriated separately and is kept in a separate pot of money. Now that separate pot of money is being used to update the library. It's not being used for a police station. It's not being used for water retention, water removal, site preparation. It's being used for a library. It's not going to be used for ADA bathrooms. It's going to be used for an HVAC. As far as I know, HVAC includes air conditioning. We're going into air conditioning season, hopefully, not just boiler season. So please, don't delay this, because all you're doing is delaying when the work can be scheduled, not everything else. It's not going to easily fit somebody else's time schedule. The city has made plans based on what you said 2 weeks ago. Why do you keep flip-flopping on things that you've already decided you were going to do, and now all of a sudden you're saying, let's not do it? It just doesn't make sense.
Thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Hi, good evening. Laura Shoemaker, Livonia. I'm no expert, but I have 35 years of experience in HVAC, operating a branch office of a very well-known commercial refrigeration company called Carrier. What happens, or what I'm hearing, is that we tend to be reactive instead of proactive. And I think we're being penny wise and pound foolish, because what's going to happen down the road is, when you don't take advantage of timing for replacement of equipment, and when something fails because we haven't planned appropriately, I'm hearing that the money has been budgeted. I know firsthand at the invoices that I've rendered to our customers, because they failed. The facilities manager and the company failed to be proactive. And what ends up happening is, you don't know what the cost is going to be when something fails, and the timing, and its overtime, and its availability of equipment, and the sizing. All of these things matter when you're looking at replacement of HVAC systems. And I think it's something that really should be considered, because we could be spending a lot of money if we don't spend the money now. We could be spending, who knows, by not spending it now, is what I'm saying. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Denise Micah, Livonia, Michigan. Through these discussions today on this, I'm so concerned with some comments that why the council wants to put this to the side to look at where that money's going to be spent. And it almost sounds like a misappropriation of funds is coming up. And if that money is from the library millage, it should go to the library and nothing else. And that's what we're all concerned about, that it's budgeted, you're in charge of the budget and approve it, and it just agghast me that we talk about, oh, this is an expert, oh, we've got to follow the expert. Well, you have the city expert and they're telling you to do this. You approve it at the study meeting, no discussion, and now all of a sudden we're going to delay it. It just really looks bad. And it's just, more trust is just deteriorating every minute we hear things from council now. It's just so sad.
Thank you. Okay, any council follow-up comments to that? Ms. Budzinski?
Yes. Apologies for my former confusion motion, and I just want to kind of clarify. I do think it's important that we invest in maintenance. You know, facility maintenance is a top priority to me, and I know DPW and putting out this bid and trying to address these issues are trying to stay on top of things, which is really important, and I support them in that and will continue to support them in that. Just wanted to also note that the building maintenance manager, facility manager position is a live posting on our city website right now. So again, that is something that continues to be a priority of this council, and it is a job listing on our city website that you can find on livonia.gov.
Okay, thank you. Anyone over here? Ms. McDonald?
Before we go vote on this item, can we have a clarification so we understand, please? Thank you.
Sure. Go ahead, Ms. Tashnik.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to make it clear that I think some of my comments and words are being misunderstood here. I'm not looking to say that I don't want to pursue maintenance on this building. This was part of a multi-year project that was approved back in March of 2023. I was just looking for clarification that this was the best possible time to do this particular building. Is it just in a schedule, or does it actually need to be done? Because that money, and by the way, the library millage money can only go to library projects. I was looking to see if that $122,000 maybe would be better worked for an ADA bathroom or something of that sort. But I'm not looking to defer. I was just offering a possible suggestion to look at the library funding. Did not mean to set off a big debate on the branch library. I was just trying to say, is this the best time for this? If it is, that's fine. And I'm perfectly fine with that. That being said, I believe that I don't have support to table, so I will withdraw that motion at this time if my supporter is okay.
I would agree.
Madam Chair,
Mr. McCullough?
I'd like to offer an approving.
Support.
Okay. Motion by McCullough. Was that Budzinski? Support by Budzinski. Anything from council? Anything from the audience? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember McCullough.
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald.
Aye.
Councilmember Budzinski.
Aye.
Councilmember Persicone.
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik.
Aye.
Vice President Brockway.
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye. And item number 8 passes 7-0. Okay, moving on to unfinished business. This is coming from the Planning Commission. Item number 12, this is a waiver petition 2026-02-02-06 submitted by Capital Grille Holdings Incorporated requesting waiver use approval to operate a Class C liquor license, which is the sale of beer, wine, and spirits for consumption on the premises, and an SDM liquor license, which is the sale of packaged beer and wine for consumption off the premises in connection with the full-service restaurant Capital Grille at 17117 North Laurel Park Drive, located on the north side of 6 Mile Road between North Laurel Park Drive and the I-275 Expressway in the southeast quarter of Section 7. And council, this will need 2 votes, 2 resolutions. Ms. Persicone?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll make a motion to approve Resolution A approving.
Support.
Motion by Persicone, support by Budzinski. Anything from council? Anything from the audience? Good evening, sir. Are you the petitioner?
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening. I apologize. Patrick Howe on behalf of Capital Grille. Apologize I couldn't make it to the study session. This is great news. It's our second location in Michigan. Capital Grille has an existing location in Troy that's been very successful for many years. Full service family steakhouse style restaurant, open for lunch and dinner. Have a great record with the Liquor Commission, with the municipalities they're in. The license is coming from Allen Park. There was a question about that at the study session. How does this work? It's a county basis, so there's no direct issue licenses in the city anymore, so we have to go find a license from a business that's closed. So happy to answer any questions, ask for your support of the waiver petition and the waiver of the spacing.
All right, thank you. Council, any questions, comments? Anything from the audience? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember McCullough.
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald.
Aye.
Councilmember Budzinski.
Aye.
Councilmember Persicone.
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik.
Aye.
Vice President Brockway.
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye. Item number 12, Resolution A, passes 7-0. Council?
Madam Chair.
Ms. Persicone?
I'll make an approving on Resolution B, waiving the 1,000-foot separation requirement from other existing on-premises licensed establishments.
Support.
Okay, motion by Persicone, support by Budzinski. Mr. McCullough?
Thank you. Through the chair to the petitioner, I just wanted to say, honestly, the building looks awesome. We're excited to see it come to fruition. And if it's okay with you, is there a tentative opening date yet? Just curious, listen, these are,
I don't have an exact date, but I'm happy to
No, you're
circulate
fine.
that through the planning department.
No, it's
But
nice to
getting very
see.
close, very close.
I think everybody can agree that a vacant land with that used to be compared to what it is now, and we're very thankful to have
Yeah, it'll be
that.
about 150 jobs, too.
It's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anything from the audience on this Resolution B of item 12? Okay, Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember McCullough.
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald.
Aye.
Councilmember Budzinski.
Aye.
Councilmember Persicconi.
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik.
Aye.
Vice President Brockway.
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye. Item number 12, Resolution B, passes 7-0. Moving on to item number 13. This is a waiver petition 2026-02-02-09 submitted by C3 Michigan LLC on behalf of the Axe Parlor requesting waiver use approval to operate a Class C liquor license, which is the sale of beer, wine, and spirits for consumption on the premises at 15970 Middlebelt Road, located on the east side of Middlebelt Road between Sunnydale Street and Terrence Avenue in the southwest quarter of Section 13. And council, this is the same as the last one. There are two resolutions for this one.
Madam Chair,
Ms. McDonald?
I would like to offer an approving, please,
Support?
Okay, motion by McDonald, support by McCullough for Resolution A.
for a Resolution A. Yes,
Okay,
please.
anything from council? Anything from the audience? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember McCullough.
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald.
Aye.
Councilmember Budzinski.
Aye.
Councilmember Persicconi.
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik.
Aye.
Vice President Brockway.
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye. Item number 13, Resolution A passes. Council? Ms.
President
McDonald?
Chair? Yes, I would like to offer an approving on 13B.
Support?
Okay, motion by McDonald, support by McCullough. Anything from council? Anything from the audience? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember McCullough.
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald.
Aye.
Councilmember Budzinski.
Aye.
Councilmember Persicconi.
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik.
Aye.
Vice President Brockway.
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye, and item 13B passes 7-0. Moving on to the Department of Civil,
Okay, question.
oh, sure, Ms.
Do
McDonald?
we need to discuss the motion with the removal?
Are you submitting a motion right now?
On 13B, I was.
What we just voted on?
Yeah, the one that was an alternate?
Point of information, if I may, through the chair to Mr.
Yeah, I'm
Tormina.
sorry.
No, we have the petitioner here, and at the last meeting, what had happened was, the Axe Parlor's been a great, if anybody's seen them, they're over at the 5 in Middlebelt area, or 5 in Merriman area, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're moving to another place, and there was a condition that the parking lot be included. Now, she's going to be a tenant, and we want to make sure that we support a local business. It certainly doesn't fall on her.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Mr. Tormino, we want to make sure what we just approved via the stipulations on the parking lot.
So the resolution does require a performance bond be set to guarantee the improvements to the parking lot. We received new information from the owner of the business that he has every intention of doing those improvements. In fact, he's got those scheduled. So item number 3, or condition number 3, while we can keep it in the resolution, it should not be an issue that's going to affect the opening of the store.
Okay, then thank you for that. I am good.
Okay, I apologize, Ms. McDonald. I thought you were going to, if you wanted to do it, I thought you were going to do it when you motioned for, I apologize.
thought I
That's my
said
fault.
that, but
Okay,
I
it's
may
okay.
have misspoke,
It's
so.
okay. You
Actually,
did-
No, and
Mr. Tormina?
if I may, and I apologize, I just noticed that the resolution does not contain a separation requirement from the church. There's a separation requirement of 400 feet for many churches, and there is the Gospel Church directly to the south of this property. So if we could add a resolution C that would waive the 400-foot separation requirement from the church, that would be, that's required.
Madam
Mr.
President,
McCullough?
I'd like to offer that resolution for the minutes purposes for law, exactly what Mr. Tormina said, if I may.
I'll support.
Motion by McCullough, support by Tashnik. Anything from council? Anything from the audience? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember McCullough.
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald.
Aye.
Councilmember Budzinski.
Aye.
Councilmember Persicconi.
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik.
Aye.
Vice President Brockway.
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye. Item number 13C passes 7-0. Okay, are we all set on that one?
I think so.
Okay. Okay, moving on to the Department of Civil Service, item number 14. This is a request to establish a new classification for the position of Assistant Library Director.
Madam Chair,
Ms. Tashnik?
I'll be happy to offer an approving motion on this.
Support.
Thank you. Madam
Motion by
Chair.
Tashik, support by Budzinski.
Just to welcome Mrs. Leibel.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Just to clear up from the last meeting, it's a new classification, not a new position, all those things. If
Yes,
you have
correct.
anything
I'm
to say on
Janine Leibel on behalf of Civil Service, and I think that the request sounded a little more complicated at our study because there's a lot of jargon, kind of technical speak of civil service. What we're looking to do, we're not adding a new position. There's no increase in costs or expenses with this. It's not a head count. We're just changing a job title, but the way that you have to go through that through the civil service process in order to ensure fairness and transparency, and that the administration is not just doing whatever we want to do without multiple layers of approval. We have to ask approval through the PRC, through the Civil Service Commission, and again through council to create a new job title or to increase the number of job titles that we have for the civil service. But again, we're not increasing the head count at the library. This is a backfill of a position. We're just changing the name on the org chart.
All right, thank you. And I think this sounds great. So.
Okay, anything else from council? Anything from the audience? Good evening, sir. Name and address, please. You have 2 minutes.
Yes, we've always had a assistant library director. Are you guys, is that true? So we've always had this position, but we're calling it something else? Is that, why are we even doing this? If nothing changes, does it increase the salary? Is that why we're changing the count? I don't understand. Okay.
Anything else from the audience? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember McCullough.
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald.
Aye.
Councilmember Budzinski.
Aye.
Councilmember Persicconi.
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik.
Aye.
Vice President Brockway.
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye. And item number 14 passes 7-0.
Thank you, Council.
All right, Engineering Division. Item number 15. This is award of contract for the Myrna Avenue water main replacement. It's from Hubbard Road to Merriman Road.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion by Budzinski, support by Tashnik. Council, any comments? Anything, Ms. Budzinski?
I was
Sorry.
just going to remind folks that it was put on to the regular just due to the amount that we're voting on. So,
Anything from the audience? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember McCullough.
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald.
Aye.
Councilmember Budzinski.
aye.
Councilmember Persicconi.
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik.
Aye.
Vice President Brockway.
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye. Item number 15 passes 7-0. Moving on to new business with the Department of Law. Item number 16, the acceptance of grant of easement secured with monetary consideration from Livonia Public Schools for a water main easement in connection with the water main constructed with the Livonia Public Schools Early Childhood Center, or ECC, in the southwest quarter of Section 8.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion by Budzinski, support by Tashnik. Any comments from council? Anything from the audience? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember McCullough.
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald.
Aye.
Councilmember Budzinski.
Aye.
Councilmember Persicconi.
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik.
Aye.
Vice President Brockway.
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye. Moving on to item number 17, this comes from City Council. This is the subject matter of the construction of a new police station. This is Council Resolution 38-26.
Madam Chair?
Ms. Persicconi?
Thank you. I would like to make a resolution at this, or a motion, excuse me, to send the subject matter of a new police station back into the Capital Outlay and Infrastructure Committee at this time.
Support.
Okay, motion by Persicconi, support by Tashnik.
Point of information. It's already in committee.
No, it's been discharged from committee.
But we didn't vote on it.
She did the letter.
Through the chair to law, I understand the letter, but isn't something to remove an item out of committee require a council vote, or no? Okay.
Okay, so we have motion on the floor. Do you want to expand on your motion?
I do,
Okay.
thank you. And I do want to point out, I'm not sure if it needs to be read, that it was that, well, I can just read it into the record now. Just to summarize for everybody here, so since March 23rd was our last regular meeting, at the last regular meeting, council, and I believe it was Vice President Brockway, requested that council members be included in the discussions pertaining to this topic. And by included, I mean at the table, at the discussions, at the meetings. Administration did acquiesce to this request and did invite all council members to participate in various meetings with the administration, including meeting with planning and design teams, PMR, OHM, director heads, all of the pertinent individuals. These meetings were in compliance with the OMA, and because of that, they could only have 3 members of council at a time at these meetings. I'm just going to refer to these meetings as workshop sessions, so it's not being confused with any other actual meetings, titled meetings. So these sessions, throughout these sessions, different questions and perspectives, were raised by various council members, and ultimately, these meetings did prove to be very helpful in really gaining a deep understanding of the project. So I do want to thank the administration for allowing us to participate in those. Typically, council does not participate like that in those meetings. Last week, on April 15th, I did draft a letter to the president, to President Reed, which was signed by Councilwoman Tashnik and Council Vice President Brockway, requesting that the matter be discharged from committee so that we could begin discussions on the next steps, hence is why it's on the agenda. The very next day, on April 16th, there was another workshop session regarding the project financing. At that time, several of my colleagues raised some additional questions. We have not gotten the information back regarding financing questions that have been asked. So I would like to gather more information on this topic, and if other council members would like to do the same, some have expressed interest to me, and of course, everyone will have an opportunity to comment regarding that. I do also think it's going to be prudent, in light of social media concerns and things that I've read online, that council come together as a whole to have a committee meeting, which would eliminate the obstacle of these mini sessions where not all of us were present. I think that would be very beneficial, and it would also give an opportunity to do a deep dive with all 7 of us before moving forward. So I do want to be very clear. We are studying this issue very closely, and I believe we have viable site locations that a majority of council can come to agree on. However, I don't believe we're able to do that without getting some additional questions answered, particularly due to financing. I'm looking forward to continue working with my colleagues on this, and I think that with this additional information, we can continue working for the community and get a new police station. As I personally, I'll say, I'm very committed to a new police station, and I think some additional information needs to be acquired.
Okay, council?
Madam Chair?
We'll go McCullough, then Tashnik.
I'd like to offer a substitute motion to put this in committee of a whole if all of council, I'd like to offer a substitute motion, put this in committee of a whole.
Support.
Thank you. This, for sake of discussion,
We do have
We
to
do
vote
have to
on
vote
that.
before you can make
Oh.
the actual
Yes.
motion. You have to vote to
We have
substitute.
to vote
and
to
then
substitute, then you motion that substitute. We have
Okay.
to vote that you want to substitute, and then you make the motion of your substitute. Your sub-
Yes, no, but I can speak on.
Oh,
the
you want to
other.
talk first? Okay.
Yes,
okay.
listen. Last year, when we had the millage request, not trying to bring this up to cause drama on this, but the fact of the matter is I begged and pleaded to put this into committee of a whole. And it was at the administration and council members' purview at the time that it stay in capital outlay and infrastructure. Now, to let everybody at home know kind of how our committees work, the committee of the whole is all council, is all of us. Whereas these subcommittees, there's 3. Now, most council usually attends these meetings, which is a good thing, but they're not required. And so for something that is a huge, huge project, and especially now after a lot of things have happened, and not going to go there, I'd like to see this in committee of a whole because it speaks directly to what Councilwoman Persicone just laid out, that this should be all of council, should be transparent. That is my reasoning. Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Ms. Persicone?
I can make this really simple and withdraw my motion and agree to committee of the whole.
Who is your support? Were you?
Well, somebody have to make a motion to send it to committee of the whole.
So the maker of the
Well-
motion would have to remove.
She's withdrawing her
I'm withdrawing my
original.
motion.
Supporter, that's fine.
Who is supporter?
You were.
Okay.
Or I
Do you,
was on this-
do you agree to withdraw, Carrie? Ms.
I do.
Kwasinski?
I do.
Oh, it was you. I'm
I
sorry.
thought it was her.
It was
That's
me.
why.
That's when you jumped in. I thought I did it. but-
Okay, so Ms.
I'm
Persicone, you've withdrawn your
supportive
motion
of committee
to
of the
put it
whole.
in committee, a capital outlay and infrastructure. You support that.
Madam
So now the-
President, so I am not, at this point, I don't want to, I'm not going to be the maker of that motion for the fact that this makes no sense at all how we've got to this point. I'm going to let someone else put it on the record.
Wait, so are you removing your substitute
I'm
motion?
removing my substitute, so now we're even.
Are you supporting removal? Are you supporting removing the substitute?
Sure, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So now do we,
No, I just.
Is there no motion on the floor at the moment?
no, he just withdrew.
Madam Chair, may
Ms.
I?
Persicone?
Then I will renew my motion to put the subject matter of the police station back into the capital outlay and infrastructure committee.
Well, why didn't, okay.
If I may,
Capital outlay.
Wait a minute. Do you have support?
I guess I am confused at what is happening right now.
I'm confused. Why, did you withdraw your substitute motion and then you're saying you don't want to do a regular motion to put it in?
if I may, I can explain myself if this is prudent time, because right now the motions haven't been there. This has been in capital outlay, and it has been in capital outlay and infrastructure. I received calls last week to do this outside of anything, because normally the process that happens is it stays in committee. So the next step would, the right way that, and let me rephrase that, maybe not the right way, but the normal way that these committees have worked for ages upon ages, is that the next finding, we would study it. We'd have another capital outlay meeting. Y'all remember, I know Councilman Donovic's probably watching, and how many times did he say we had 5 million trillion meetings? And we'd sit there and he's laughing right now, I know he is. But we had meetings. Now, were they, going past that? The right process is that Council Vice President Brockway could withdraw his motion just to leave it in there. We don't even have to have a vote right now. And then we can do the right step, and that's have another meeting to discuss this. And then from there, there can be meeting minutes that come out of the committee that allow the residents an opportunity to speak and not just have an agenda item added on a Thursday when the meeting's on a Monday. So,
Can we speak now?
no, not yet.
Oh.
Not yet. I'm sorry. So a lot of this, and while you all are all here, and we could say that there's internet, and we could say that there's games, what's happening right now makes no sense. It doesn't, in my opinion, and I have one vote to have that opinion. You all are here because of that. This makes no sense at all. Nothing does. Unless, was there going to be motions? We got packets of everything. If everybody goes online, we have packets from everybody showing different sites. So what happened? I don't know. But the fact of the matter is it could be simple. If it was meaning to stay into committee, why didn't it just stay into committee? Thank you. So for that reason, I have always chose to leave it, and that was my recommendation, is to leave it in there. And I'm not making a motion. I'm not putting my name on record right now to put it. If you guys want to put it into committee of a whole, which in my honest opinion is something I will support, it's the right move. If not, then don't do it. But I'm not going to be the maker of this motion. Thank you.
Mr. Brockway, can I give you the gavel? Okay, so this is what happened. A couple weeks ago, we asked for the administration to put us in these meetings. We had 3 meetings. I'm assuming with conversations after, everyone's meetings were slightly different. But in my meeting, Councilman Brockway looked directly across the table to me and said, I want this on the regular agenda. I will never hold an agenda hostage. If a council member says that, okay, we'll get it done. We will put it on the agenda. Then another meeting happened with just a couple council members last week. It brought a lot of confusion, and that's how it got us here. And we're like, wait a minute, we're not going to rush this. We don't feel confident in what we've been given, but this is how we got to this position. I'm never going to hold an agenda hostage. If council comes to me and says we want something on the agenda, we're going to do it. We're going to talk about it. But that is why we are here. So now I'm going to motion to put the topic of the construction of the new police station in the capital, or the committee of the whole. Do I-
Support.
Whoa.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, you're running.
Martha, it's Martha's birthday. We will give it to Martha.
Yes.
So I motioned, she supported.
Just a brief, can I clarify, or am I able to speak
So,
as a
no,
motion?
no. So
and
I
support?
motioned to put it in committee of the whole.
Okay.
Martha seconded it, so now you go council,
Got it.
and then
Do I have anything from
audience.
council?
Okay, yeah.
Mr. Chair. You know, we have all spent a lot of time on this topic this month. We've had meetings with the administration, multiple meetings. We are constantly talking to each other and trying to find the best place forward. I think all 7 of us are of the same mind that we need to get a new police station and we need to get a new building. And I am glad that we're continuing that conversation, because for me personally, it's very important that we have consensus on this council about what the best pathway forward is. And I think allowing us the opportunity to speak all together in the same room with an audience is the best way to do that, because this is a big project. It's a big investment, but it's also really, really important for our city. So I want to thank the chair for, again, a lot of things have happened over the last couple of weeks. It has not been an easy process. It has been a lot of work. And to find this conciliatory stance of what we could do next, I don't think I know it isn't gameplay. It is serious and it is sincere. And if you want to have more information on that, I will just say that for me personally, I only want this to pass with at least a supermajority. And when you don't have a supermajority, then you need to go back to the drawing board. That's why we're going back to committee and to the drawing board. So again, I am very appreciative to the committee chair for allowing us to do that. I'm grateful for council president for making the motion to put it in committee of the whole. This isn't easy work. Again, it's important, and we are listening to the community. That is why it's being put into committee. And that is all. Thank you.
Have any other council? Yes, Mr. Brockway. I'm sorry. You just have to recognize me. Yes, Mrs. Tashnik, thank you. And like Mrs. Bazinski, I fully support a new police station. Given the significant infrastructure challenges of our current station, a renovation is simply just not viable or a sustainable path forward. And I think I mentioned earlier how much respect I have for our police and the job that they do. I think the best course of action for the time being is just to pause for just a minute before we actually vote on a site. There are too many open questions on financing and the sites themselves that need to be addressed. And I feel the best thing would be to go to committee where we can, as a group, fully study, whether it's in committee of the whole or capital outlay. To me, I think tomato, a little bit. Yes, you're required to be at committee of the whole, but all of us show up for capital outlay as well. So I am good with either committee, to be honest. I do recognize that sending this to committee may extend the schedule on this a little bit, but I think it's time that we have to ensure we have all the necessary data and prevent any costly oversights, and we want to make sure we have a successful outcome here. So I want to make sure that we've conducted the comprehensive due diligence that's going to be required for a project of this scale. So I will be in support of going to committee. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. McDonald?
Thank you, Vice President Brockway. I would like to add on to the conversation. I know when we were in capital outlay and the discussion was brought up, and I believe it was the mayor who started that conversation in reference to having smaller meetings, having groups. And I remember Mr. Brockway bringing up the concern that, he wanted to make sure specifically Councilmember McCullough to be there because he is the most qualified and most professional, because that's what he does for his day job. So I just want everybody to remember, because there's always a lot of things going on in these meetings and we don't always remember everything, especially me. But it was Mr. Vice President Brockway's intention to ensure that we all had the opportunity to be part of these meetings. That was the whole thing. It wasn't his idea just to have these separate mini meetings just to bring up conversation. So that's all I want to say. Thank you.
I just want to say, lesson learned. We thought it would be a good way to work with the administration to get our questions answered, but I think we all figured out right away, okay, that was not transparent like we're trying to be, because they're closed meetings and we're asking different questions. I didn't know what the meeting after me was going to ask. So I think this is lesson learned. Committees were created for a reason. They're open. Everyone's invited. All council members are invited to be at those. And now we know moving forward. And lesson learned, but let's not do it again.
Mr. Chair?
Yes,
I just wanted to add one more thing. Any type of insinuation really that this was not done on the up and up is, I obviously am going to take personal offense to that because I'm working really hard to be extremely transparent. And when we did what we did with respect to a letter for receipt and file, when we received the packet of information that we put on for receipt and file, that is a proper way to do things. Obviously, I consulted with the city attorney on procedural issues because there were times throughout this whole process that it's kind of been like a roller coaster. We thought we were reaching some consensus on certain areas. We thought we had all the information, and things change. This is very fluid. And I'm really proud of the council to be able to adapt right now and move forward. And I appreciate all of the work that my colleagues are putting in. So thank you. And I just wanted to put that out there. I'm talking from my heart right now. That's how I feel about this process at this point.
Ms. McDonald.
One other thing to note. I know I reached out to Eagle yesterday and sent an email wanting to know, had a mile-long list of questions. Of course, they only answered 2. But my concern's always been the wetlands issue and when we were going to find that information in their report. And they did reply this morning and indicated that they should be out in their review, their third review, by the 28th of April. And I asked the question in reference, why the delay? Why did they put the review, and it actually was from March of last year, for the process? And they indicated to me that because last year Michigan was in such a drought that they didn't feel that they would get appropriate readings on the land as it is. And to me that was great news because they took a step and they stepped back and said, hey, this is not the right thing to do because right now the land's going to be very dry. So I appreciate Eagle's efforts in doing that, and I look forward to the report on that. Thank you.
Mr. McCullough.
Thank you, Vice President. I just want to touch base, and I appreciate everybody coming out. If this goes through, you're going to see way more of a transparent, all right? And this is what we all wanted. We want this police station. We want to support our officers. I think we all do. If there's anybody in this room, yeah, maybe it differs, but public safety is the cornerstone of our community, and we have to support it. And a lot of this just got into it as a tangled web of, I'm not gonna label it here, however, the passion to the city. You guys, I'm sure there's people in here that this is their first time ever coming to a council meeting. That's a win, right? That's making sure that you're looking at your local community, which a lot of things happen at the local level. And so, it's educational. A lot of times it doesn't affect any of you until it hits your specific home, neighborhood, or something that you are close to. The second thing and by the way, guys, this is the right step. The committee of the whole, and take the time. This is a huge project that this city is going to look at, and I think we all want that. I do want to defend Council Vice President Brockway because, listen, you've always heard me say humility is the key to leadership. I say it all the time, and the reason I know that is because I've learned it. If you're not open and receptive to change and learning new things, then you shouldn't be in a leadership role. And when that time comes, you should leave. And listen, you always see, I feel like I told Patrick this earlier. I said it's ups and downs, and you learn different things. And we're not all perfect, but I'm telling you that this man's heart was in the right place on that, and he was looking for compromise. All right, and there's nothing. I will back vice president all day long for his character and integrity that each of you guys, or whoever voted for him, and I don't think that the bus on anything said, hey, I just want to push this forward, because I'm not going to get into that, but I can tell you, if that even was never his intention, he was looking. We've met out on site, council vice president and council president. We were out there. I had muck boots on, and I'm looking around. So there is a lot of work that happens behind the scenes. This is the right way to do it. And listen, this guy is a gem and actually talked a lot of sense into this bitter hockey guy at times that, but listen, he's a gem. He's one that we should be proud of having as a leader in our city. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Ms. Buzinski?
Yeah, I just want to say, because we've talked about my scheduling, that whenever the council president decides to schedule the meeting, presumably it's not Thursday or Friday, I will be here. I may have a baby with me. We might, do it unconventionally, but, we're not going to rush the process, but we're also not going to slow it down due to my schedule, and I will make sure that I'm here as just a official point of reference for moving forward in committee of the whole. Thank you.
Do I have any other comments from council? Okay, we're going to go to the public here, public audience. Please, this is your comments. Please keep them to 2 minutes, and it has to do with the motion to move this to committee of the whole. It has to be specific to the motion to move this to committee of the whole. We'll go ahead and start on this side.
I'm a little confused on that, but I only have 2 points. First of all, in support of the police station, but it should not be in the wetlands.
Hold up. So
first, it should be in the wetlands, and it should be at the corner of 5 Mile and Farmington, where it's located. And if we did a survey,
hold up one sec. We're going to discuss the police stations on the agenda, but right now this motion is to move the item to the committee of the whole. You'll still get time to speak on the subject of the police station, but this is it's on the agenda. Right now we're just talking about the movement of the item.
Correct. Like, do you support going to committee of whole or not?
Yes, that's.
I paused your time, sir. Just so
Point of procedure to law. Since this is an item that the topic is the police station, the people can speak on it. This wasn't a substitute motion. There wasn't anything other than the line item that said, this is police department construction.
I agree with you.
You knocked that off. That was a good shot, by the way, man. What did you do?
That's one
with
way
that?
to not. They don't have to
It's
hear
my
me.
understanding that the people can speak on this. It's not a substitute motion.
It's not a question of the people can speak. They can't speak. We can't hear you. Sorry. It's not a question of whether it's not a question of whether the people can speak. It's whether they can speak to the motion that is before the council.
But the motion is based on the police station. It's the agenda item. They can speak on the police item and everything that's in the packet, which is including everything. I'm just making sure, I just want to make sure we don't do anything wrong.
Well, as I understand it, that's what the committee of the whole will be about, to talk about everything in the packet. And that's what the motion here is, as I've heard, is to move this to the committee of the whole.
Absolutely.
So that is the question that they can speak on.
I would say that if it's an item number, this is not a substitute motion, anything in that packet should be allowable, but I will defer to law.
Mr. Chair, just a point of clarification. Hold on 1 sec. Okay, Ms. Pistachio. I just want to make a point of clarification with Mr. Goldstein before we have anyone step out of turn. So in theory, what you're saying is that audience will have full autonomy to speak on anything regarding the site plan or the financing or whatever it may be at the committee of the whole meeting.
That's how it's supposed to be structured, yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure that everyone's clear on that, so we're all getting it right.
May I offer, just as it relates to allowing people to speak on this, this is the last item on this agenda. We go back to audience communication where folks can talk on anything.
Not on the agenda.
That's not on the agenda. So we're kind of in a gray gown. That's why I asked
But the
Mr.
study session is in 20 minutes after that you can come talk about it.
Well,
so.
since the folks here did come, they wanted to speak about this item. Is there anything that stops us from having them discuss this for their 2 minutes? Is there any rule that would violate us from doing that?
All those in favor?
This is unusual circumstance. So
Good.
Vice President Brockway, if you wanted to, or if you want to entertain a vote to suspend the rules to widen the scope of what people talk about, that is within the prerogative of the council.
I'll make the motion. Mr. Chair,
Mr. McCall?
I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules to allow the people to speak on this item.
All right.
Support.
Do I have support?
We still have a motion on the floor.
We still currently have a motion on the floor, so point of order, real quick, sorry.
Okay.
So,
We're gonna unwrap this. Just gonna take a second here.
and I'm not trying to be difficult, but we
Nope,
can't have
nope.
two motions on the floor. I'm
Fair
just from a parliamentary procedure standpoint.
Okay. Do you have a recommendation? Then should we move the item or make the vote on to move it? Can we keep
Well, we
the item
can't without
open?
audience, we have to allow for audience communication first.
Mr. Chair?
So,
Mr. Chair, audience, we're going to do this vote. After that, I'm going to offer a resolution to suspend the rules. So this is just to talk about the vote. You cannot talk about, the building until after we suspend the rules. Is that clear? Thank you.
so if anyone wants to speak on the motion to go to committee of the whole, have at it, come to the podium.
Yep. So this is for the motion to go to committee. So step on up if you do.
Someone's coming up.
Okay, okay. All right, we'll start with the left side over here. Or,
Hi, Michelle Mancini, Merriman Road. So I am glad that you're going to a committee of the whole. I would like to point out, this is one thing this administration has taught us, that common sense isn't really common. So when you guys are having your capital outlay meetings, and you can't all go because of the Open Meetings Act, how about you open those meetings? How about you broadcast those meetings? You record them so everybody can see them, and then you don't have to worry about the Open Meetings Act. Thank you.
thank you.
Denise Micah, Livonia. To piggyback on what Michelle just said, can we just say the committee of the whole meetings will be in the auditorium and they're televised as part of that, so that it's the full transparency that we all are striving for. Thank you.
Anybody on this side for the motion to move to committee?
Am I next?
Yes, go ahead. State your name.
Hello, my name is Naz Simsit. I live at 18957 Aspen Drive. Obviously, the people before me right now are very familiar with my face, and some people in the audience are too. I'm here on behalf of the Schoolcraft Environment Club, all of its members, and even just the people who stop in to care about our environment. But I'm also here on behalf of Councilwoman Carrie Budzinski, who I'm an intern for. I just really want to say that when we are making this motion to move it to committee of the whole for everybody to speak about, and even for this discussion that we're having right now, I encourage us to not lose sight of our humanity. This is not an us versus them situation. We are unified as a city. I was born and raised in Livonia, and I just want us to all be making the right choice together. I don't want to see fighting. I don't want to see people feel upset at our council and lose hope. I really think that we have wonderful people before us. I have put very many different types of environmental motions before the council that they have been very receptive on and very proactive on. And I have a lot of hope for this meeting that we will come to an agreement that we're all happy with as a city. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Go ahead and state your name.
Cindy Fleming, Livonia, and thanks, Naz. I'm going to say the same through the chair, that you are all human, and you showed that today, and I appreciate that. People are acknowledging that you are listening, and you're, I hope we get your support to move this into the committee of the whole and to really study these things in a calm manner and have discourse, because so much talent is on this council, and so many wonderful people and talented people and people who are willing to do the work, research, have these discussions. Let's all slow down, bring down the tone, and work together to improve Livonia. Thank you.
Do we have any other public content on the move the motion? Okay, go ahead, state your name.
Kaylee Licklider, spelled just like Madam President. I just have a question about the Open Meetings Act because from what I understand, if it's going into a subcommittee by motion, it has to come out of subcommittee by motion. I'm not sure how it would apply in this situation, but it sounds like we're moving stuff through committees by memos in an email. I also looked on the city's website and I don't see a notice for a subcommittee meeting, nor was it, which means it wasn't open to the public. So I'm just kind of trying to get clarity there, if you wouldn't mind, through the chair.
Would legal wish to comment on that?
It is not common, but it has been done historically in the past where 3 council members write a letter to remove something from committee to get it in front of council. That is not a violation of the Open Meetings Act.
But if they're moving it from committee, she just said that they have these subcommittees that they're meeting in, which I haven't seen.
Chair, if I may.
Am I misunderstanding?
Yeah, those were not committees. We had asked the administration to include us on conversations about the construction of the police station. In order to not violate the Open Meetings Act, they had to have 3 separate meetings with us. So we were split up into 3 separate meetings.
Well, how does that work with closed meetings then? Because now you're just meeting in separate closed meetings.
So we didn't violate anything. There weren't ever more than 3 council members there, and that we had a plethora of other people. So,
but then why does there need to be a motion? Is what I'm trying to understand. Because if it's coming out of committee by a letter,
it was
not a motion.
It was still in the committee from, when was your last committee meeting?
March 11th.
March 11th.
Right, but you're not moving it out of committee by motion inside of the committee. You're moving it out of committee by letter in an email, is my point.
Correct.
I don't understand how that's not a violation of the Open Meetings Act.
Because there 3 members signed the letter, and they didn't meet about it or anything. It was like individual calls, from what I understand, and that's not a violation.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I can.
Mrs. Tashning.
The Capital Outlay and Infrastructure Committee meeting, those committee meetings are open to the public. All committee meetings are published on the Livonia community calendar. So the workshops that Mrs. Reed was talking about were not committee meetings. They were workshops with administration and the architect and all, other players. So that's what. And when we are in committee, we can make a recommendation to move something, but we don't actually make motions in committee. Motions are only made at the regular meeting, which is what we're in right now, a regular meeting.
But if you're going to move something into a subcommittee and then move it back to the committee as a whole, then it's got to be by motion.
Well, I mean, we can't have this go back and forth.
I understand.
Mr. Chair, point of order, there's a time, and I know there's other people that are really.
No problem, I understand.
talking.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more comments on the left? No. On the right?
Yes, Jerry Karasinski, 19488 Bainbridge Avenue. I wholly support moving this to the Committee of the Whole. I do appreciate Councilwoman Persiconi's explanation. I do not think that there was anything nefarious going on, but having an open discussion in the Committee of the Whole is definitely the right solution. I thank you all.
Hi, Deb Christensen, Livonia, Michigan. I just wanted to address President Reed. I just want to say thank you very much for acknowledging the mishap with doing it the way that you guys did it, and acknowledging to this whole audience that you learned a lesson by doing that. And so now you're going to move, hopefully, to the vote of putting this into the Committee of the Whole. So thank you very much, President.
Do we have any other public comment? Okay. Any comments from council?
Laura Janica on Munger Street. I am kind of concerned about this. This is, the people are here. They wanted to talk. They came to talk.
It's going to happen.
They are.
What I understand, but you try. It feels like you tried to pull one over on us. Is what it looks like. That's what it feels like. But they just thought of it recently when there's public opinion, and then you decided, oh, we better pull that back because. It's really distracting. It's been brought up before, but you guys are doing all the I things. It's very distracting. But I'm just saying, it looks, This often happens at council. Something gets real hot, you take it off the agenda.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Okay, do we have any other council?
Yes.
Ms. McDonald.
Thank you, Vice President Brockway. I would really like to invite and remind everybody that after we get done with voting on this motion, I would love to hear from all of you. I think it's critical. I think it's important that the council, the administration, each of us listen and hear what you have to say. So we have audience communications right after this, and then I want to hear from everybody, and I'm sure everyone else does too. Thank you.
Mrs. Budzinski.
Yeah, I just want to say to the previous comment of that we are pulling back. That is honestly what we are doing. We are listening to the public. We are hearing the discourse that is happening around us, the emails, the communications and messages that you've sent. As I stated earlier, we don't have a supermajority consensus here on council for what happens next, and that is important to us. So that is exactly why we're going to the committee of the whole. Everyone will have an opportunity to share their feelings who made time to come here tonight, but I think the purpose of you guys coming here tonight was to influence what our next steps were. And you guys did do that by coming here. And that is the result of that. It is not a trick. It's not nefarious. It means the conversation continues. So again, I do want to just, none of this has been easy for any of us here. And making that choice to remain in committee and to go to committee of the whole, I'm very glad that that's what we're doing. Again, that is really, I feel, what you guys were asking for, is saying we want a building, but we need more discussion. We need more answers. That's what we're going to get. We're going to get more answers. We're going to do it publicly in a forum. I know Councilwoman Reed, or Council President Reed, likes to have meetings down here for committees. So to the person who asked that it be done down here before, I feel confident saying that that is where we're going to host that meeting as well. So you can all come back then. You know, again, this is, I feel, what the residents are saying that they want. So I'm very glad that that's what we're doing. And again, thank you to my colleagues.
Okay, thank you very much. So right now we have a motion to place this item into committee of a whole. Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Councilmember McCullough.
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald. Aye. Councilmember Budzinski.
Aye.
Councilmember Persicone.
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik.
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye.
Vice President Brockway.
Aye.
Vice President?
Yes, Mr. McCullough. The vote does pass, 7-0. I'll get it right.
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules to allow the citizens to speak on the item that was listed on the agenda.
Support.
Listen, I think it's self-explanatory.
Do I have a council comment on that?
Go to the audience.
You have to go to the audience.
Okay, to audience on the motion to suspend the rules. Okay, seeing none. So, Madam Clerk, if you please take the vote.
Councilmember McCullough.
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald. Aye. Councilmember Budzinski.
Aye.
Councilmember Persicone.
Aye.
Councilmember Tashnik.
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye.
Vice President Brockway.
Aye. Okay, the vote passes 7-0. Audience, you wanted to talk about the police station? Have at it. You have 3 minutes to talk, 2 minutes to talk.
We're on the audience.
Are we on audience communication?
No, we're in.
No, we're in special
Okay,
session.
you have 2 minutes to talk on the agenda item of the police station.
Good.
And go ahead.
Go
You
ahead.
waited long enough.
Again, Wayne Snyder, 15500 Ingram, Livonia resident. I have 3 points. First of all, the main point is the new police station, if it's going to be a new police station, needs to be built at the corner of 5 Mile and Farmington, not in a wetland. And it's mainly for safety, for visibility, etc. Number 2, I think it was Ms. McDonald who had the photos of the wetland. If you didn't, I apologize, but I thought it was you, that showed pictures of the wetland. My question is, if anybody saw those pictures, would you build your house on that? I don't think so, right? Would anybody build their house on that? Unless they want to have a pontoon boat underneath, okay? And the key factor on that is if indeed that place, if that location was selected, and once you get going and you put everything in, they turn around and say, oh, you know, it's a lot wetter here than we thought it was going to be. And then we need another $1 million or $3 million or $5 million, pick a number, you pick a number. Because remember, you already got into it. So we can't go back. The other thing that I just don't understand is they say, well, we want to have the building next to the courthouse. Again, other cities seem to go okay without that. And again, you can have you could hire one policeman to escort someone over every day. I don't know how many, but the key factor is it does not need to be in the wetlands. That's a terrible place. And it just needs to be at the corner of 5 Mile and Merriman for safety. Or Farmington. I'm sorry, it could be Merriman too. But bottom line is,
okay, that is
it
your
needs
time.
to be at
Thank you
5
very
Mile
much.
and Farmington.
Okay, go ahead, please state your name for the record.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Marty Cozen. I'm president of Nottingham Woods Civic Association. Thanks for all the time and effort that you guys have put into this topic. I'm going to kind of pick on Brandon a little bit and echo a lot of his sentiments and some of the things that he said about this project. He's an architect. I'm a builder. I'm involved with a pretty large project right now. One of the biggest hits that the client, the owner, is facing right now is bad soils, building on unsuitable soils. We have a part of the site that we couldn't even get a drill rig on, and that's probably why we don't have soil borings at this location, because you couldn't actually get a drill rig on it. So I question, as I look back on what I've done the past 15 years, working alongside with Dan Gilbert and building everything up downtown, taking all these old buildings, bringing them back to life, not tearing them down because they're built out of concrete or steel, or because they had bad roofs or bad HVAC. We fixed all that stuff. So why couldn't we take the existing building, build out in front of it, repurpose it, do the work for probably half or maybe a third, maybe even 2/3. But we have an existing facility. You've got water lines going in there. You've got electricity, gas. All you have to do is just build out in front of it, build up if you have to, give the police community all the things that they want, internet, comfort, new locker rooms, whatever they need. You can do this. This is a terrible decision. I appreciate you guys have a really, really tough job, but it doesn't make any sense. There's no logic to it. There's no logic. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please state your name for the record.
Yep, John Schaefer, 15638 Brookfield Street. One of the things that comes to mind is whenever you hear that something has to be done now, I always think scam. Why does it have to be done now? But I want to go back to phase 3 and 4 in the previous elections. We had a vote on phase 3, and that got shot down. But let's talk about phase 4, where the city was going to turn the majority of this land into retail space and condos. That plan is still in action. That's why they want that corner in the wetlands. They want to move everything off of the corner and proceed with phase 4. I've not heard anything different, but it was the same recycled data that they proposed when they were doing this police station. I had heard that the reason why phase 3 was voted down as no was because we didn't want to do as grand of a scale. I don't think that's right. I don't think that people wanted to. You need a moment. Okay. I don't think that people wanted to turn our land into retail space and condos. And that's why I think that there's such a push to put this in the corner where it is. is there still a plan for phase 4? Is there still an underlying move to turn this space into retail and condos? Is that why we can't get over this stump? Is that why there's such a push to go into the wetlands, into an area that people don't want? I think that if we took a step back, we could combine the police and fire station. It's been done in Northville for less money. I think we could do this smarter and better, that better serves the people of the city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please state your name for the record.
My name's Bob Hauser, 14792 Hubbard. I've been here before. I'm always going to stand up in support of Livonia's building its biodiversity and its ecology. I think we're always taking too much away from that, and your kids and grandkids are going to suffer. Now, this wetland, building this, I agree completely with the other two gentlemen over there. I'm looking forward to the Eagle report to see if this is a wetland or just a seasonally wet area. But whatever it is, building in a wetland is a great idea, said no one ever. And I like the analogy. I would never build my house on a wetland unless it was on stilts or something. But yeah, don't build in this area. Instead, develop it for what it is. A wet area. It could be Livonia's 12th natural area with a walking path and people, and you'll get good vibes from that, good press from just simply keeping it and strengthening it for what it is right now. Don't build in it. Build along Farmington and 5 Mile. Anywhere over there, keep that area clean. I know it was a great idea because everybody sees it as just a green, unused space, but there's things going on there that we could develop further. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Could please state your name for the record?
Jerry Karasinski, 19488 Bainbridge Avenue. I just have a few comments. Regardless of the site chosen, these points must be addressed before moving forward. 1, choosing a wetland site, whether regulated or unregulated, will require excavation and replacement with engineered fill material to stabilize the site. It will also require additional drainage to prevent foundation damage due to moisture. 2nd, proximity between the courthouse and the police station based on prior decisions made to build the new courthouse on the opposite side of the Civic Center property shows that proximity is a secondary concern. In addition, the lack of any incidents reported at the courthouse where current response times were an issue confirms this conclusion. 3rd, moving the police station closer to the library would likely concern patrons, parents, and grandparents of potential criminal risk unless additional barriers were installed to separate the facilities. 4, assuring proper funding is paramount before this project can proceed. The current funding model is deficient, especially since it relies on the 1% property tax administration fee and potentially state legislative earmarks or other grants as part of the funding model. Raiding the capital improvement fund will delay other capital improvements that have been documented, including roof leaks in multiple structures and other deferred maintenance. 5, proximity to the public safety millage renewal. The public safety millage renewal is not guaranteed. The senior program's Greenmead millage is also up for renewal. Voters will also be asked to approve the Smart Bus millage and the Charles Wright Museum millage. Many residents already see the 1% property tax administration fee as a millage increase. It is worse because the Livonia voters did not approve the fee and it hasn't been used. However, I'd like to change that. It's been used for LPS and Clarenceville Public School operating millage. So the 1% fee was approved by the state legislature in 1982 and its use was clarified in 2008. Any mistrust created...
Thank you very much. Go ahead and state your name for the record.
Todd Roberts, 35135 Parkdale. I think the consensus here tonight is nobody wants that police station on the wetlands or anywhere near it. I mean, that is, if you want to stop all the rift in the city, that's what you need to do first, is take those 2 locations off of your plan sites. Then go from the other sites and work from there. Because I'm going to say one thing, and that's not going to be popular with a lot of people, but the millage renewal, may not be tied to this, but don't listen to us and find out what happens. You'll be using that $55 million to pay your officers. And the other question I have is, we're down 30 officers now. Why? If the millage is already there and you have the money, why don't we have the officers we need now? How are you going to lose 30 more if you don't have 30 to begin with? Nobody's answered that question for me. I've asked 15 different people, and I have yet to get an answer. You can't lose 30 more because you're not going to lose 30, you're going to lose 60. But you haven't hired the 30 you need with the money you already have. So obviously, you don't need the money. So be very careful from this point forward.
Thank you very much. Go ahead and state your name for the record.
Hey there, good evening. Nick Hefty. I live in the Rosedale Gardens neighborhood, Livonia, Michigan, 48150. I'm not going to talk to you about a location this evening. So as some people know, I work for the city of Dearborn Heights. I live in Livonia. I'm an appointee under a mayor. My job is to build capital projects to ideate with our residents, with our directors, build capital projects and get them funded. That's my job, my whole job. So let's just say right now I wanted to build a roadway. There's Safe Streets for All coming up pretty soon here. It's going to be like $25 million. I got it for Dearborn a couple of years ago, so it is doable. And then let's say I love my street so much that while I'm opening it up, I want to, maybe do some lead line replacement. Well, there's a grant right now through the Department of Energy for specifically lead line and gas line replacements for municipalities. I'm working on a road, so also I want to have maybe pollinator gardens in the medians. There is actually a Federal Highway Administration grant for pollinator gardens that you can get for $120,000. Weirdest thing ever. And then, maybe I want to also do some flood mitigation in the same roadway project. So on top of that, I'm going to apply to the EPA and the EDA for disaster relief. Do you guys see what we're doing here? We're building what's called a capital stack. The reason why we don't do it as often in cities is because, one, it wears work boots and it looks like work. And then two, grants are ridiculously transparent, whereas bonds are not. On every single grant that I have ever won, which is about, I think, 62 million now, I have had to tell them what the grant is for, how I'm spending it, who I'm paying, what I'm doing, if prevailing wage is needed. There's a lot of rules that we're governed by. Bonds do not require any of that. And I wonder why we want to do a bond.
Thank you very much. Could you please state your name for the record?
Hi, I'm Barbara Glover. I live in Livonia. I just wanted to say that it takes a lot of courage to come up here and speak to you guys. I might not be the most eloquent speaker, but I'm just going to say, from my heart, that I feel the police station is needed. However, I don't think building in a swamp is the best idea. Like many people have said, no one would build their house there. Let's try to preserve some of our natural areas. I know we have a lot of parks, but are they natural areas? A lot of them are just soccer fields or playgrounds. We need other natural areas too. And like someone else suggested, we could turn that into maybe have a walkway for people to walk through and enjoy the nature there instead of just draining the swamp and, putting some building up there that might need maintenance later on. So from my perspective, I think there's better locations. And as a woman, I don't want to have to wonder where the police station is way down on a side street. I want it right front and center on 5 Mile or Farmington. I want to be able to see it and know where it is and feel safe going to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please state your name for the record.
Katie Rogowitz, Burton Hollow. I'm speaking not just as a resident, I'm going to speak as the wife of a police officer, not in Livonia. My husband's department, once they had to run on their own millage, so they did not get to piggyback the fire department to get it to pass, and it did not pass. And they had to do some very big cutbacks, rein in spending, cut excessive overtime. They learned to deal with and work with the budget they had instead of just demanding that the taxpayers hand over more money. And while there were a few officers that were laid off because they were bottom of the totem pole, they were gradually hired back once they balanced their budget. That said, as the wife of a police officer, I do remember when my husband had expired body armor. Those are things that are important. Or the fact that they didn't have a canine. They would have to borrow one from Oakland County. There are certain things that make police officers and departments more efficient, improve officer safety, improve community safety. And a new police department isn't one of them. And the location itself is just a bad location. I have nowhere to run as a runner. Can't run in my neighborhood. People block the sidewalk with their cars. Sidewalks are cracked, uneven, they're dangerous. And places in Livonia aren't exactly safe, as we see from the police department parking lot. You get robbed in the parking lot, you get stabbed in the lobby. So my concern is that when I go to the police department, because I park on the city campus to run, especially in the winter, because nobody will clear their sidewalks of ice and snow. So the city does clear their sidewalks, so this is where I run so I can run in the winter. I see the people that are leaving the police station, and you don't want them going into your neighborhood, okay? I'm not trying to be mean, I'm trying to be truthful. You wouldn't want them in your neighborhood. Don't put them in those people's neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please state your name for the record.
Hi, James Crowley, Laurel Park. So I'm not necessarily in support of a millage increase. I do think that we need to improve the facility as it is, but I own multiple properties in Livonia. This affects my tenants. This cost will be passed on to them. I mean, I have 3-bedroom homes in the 5 Mile Newburgh area, multiple, and the taxes are ranging from $8,000 to $10,000 a year. Imagine that for a 3-bedroom, 1,200 square foot home. That is being paid for by the tenant. I have to improve the homes and make them mini luxury homes in order to command the price to pay the taxes on those houses. So we continue to increase, and I pay the full tax, and there's many other investors. And we're not, slumlords. These houses are beautiful, beautiful homes, but still the cost. So I would like to see a little bit more information about, we're just told that they need a new facility. And I believe, yes, we need to bring it into this decade. But does it mean completely tearing down? We're disposable, society. We just tear things down and throw them in a landfill and we build new. Have we really looked at the cost, as some of the other gentlemen have spoke? Can we build in front of it? Can we build on it? Can we renovate it? Why are we just tearing everything down? I do believe there's ulterior motives as to why we want to clear that land. We had the millage, denied last year. Now we're coming back in a different way. Let's kind of divide and conquer. Let's take these little things and let's clear that land. I really believe that's why, the motivation behind this, not just to improve the police facility, but to clear the land as well. So let's really take a close look, and I'd like to really look at the comparison. And before you just come in and throw a millage on here, let's look at some bonds and look at other alternatives before we just come in and say, we need this. Again, great job moving to committee of the whole so we can understand all these. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please state your name for the record.
Jim Bigga, Livonia, Michigan. A couple of things. When going through your documentation, the cost estimates didn't take into account the wetlands that were being proposed to be built on. There is no money in there for remediation or preparation of the soils in that wetland. That proves to me that the persons involved in making the problem are the administration. The administration has had zero contact with the residents. You all get our brunt. You all 7 of you have gotten the anger on Facebook, probably my anger. I have been very upfront on my opinion on this whole process because you all are the ones that we get to talk to. Somebody spoke that they've been waiting for the mayor to contact them for 7 years. Our mayor doesn't talk to the people. She only talks to you when you go to the Livonia State of the Union, you pay $20, or you're providing campaign donations. But if you're a resident, they don't talk to you. She doesn't talk to you. That's why you guys get yelled at. That's why you get a room full of people here. The administration does not come and talk to us. None of these plans would have been sent to you based on what is there today. And that's the truth. You know it as well as we know it. None of these would have been presented. And if you look at the plan for the Site 4, which is at 5 Mile and Farmington, it's the only one with a direct parking lot from a main road. so that people can pull in there. If a woman is nervous about something, she can pull in there and get to the front desk. None of those other stations allow that.
Thank you very much. Please state your name for the record.
My name is Conrad Schwartz. I live at 30144 Buckingham. I just wanted to comment on the cost of the project as it's going to be eventually reported, because sometimes people forget about major expenditures. What I'm specifically trying to hone in on: furniture, computer equipment, desktop monitors, specialized equipment for a police station that I don't know anything about, the cost of interest. There are other things that go into a building besides steel and concrete. So when it's reported, I'll be looking for those things, and I hope our advisors and our consultants and their fees are included in the cost of the project. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Please state your name.
Yes, my name is Tom Progar. I grew up on Allen and Blackburn in Livonia, and I currently live across the street from Livonia in Farmington Hills. And I just want to point out, this gentleman had a wonderful idea about building in front of the current building. And I just want to point out, so many people, as we're hearing today, just as in Farmington Hills, oppose strongly destroying our last remaining wetlands and wooded areas. We are running out of these places, and we don't need to destroy them. And the only thing, or the number one thing that packs the Farmington Hills City Council meetings are when they talk about cutting down more trees, cutting down more, or destroying more wetlands. People are against this, so please consider this, as everyone is stating this basically. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please state your name for the record.
Yes, Steve King, Coventry Gardens. I think it's wonderful, all these folks coming forward. It's long overdue. I don't appreciate the LPOA coming after me on social media, being so disrespectful and rude to a citizen taxpayer just because I have a different point of view. So I appreciate they seem to have toned it down, because the backlash was so great, they were going to lose the millage just because of that, because of their behavior. So they need to be a little more professional, especially when they swore an oath to uphold the Constitution, when First Amendment rights are the most important part of that. So, buildings don't fight crime. The Dearborn Police just busted car thieves using their new drone program. I've been talking about drones for years. Okay, they identified the stolen car by seeing the license plate. They approached these criminals in the parking lot, and no one was harmed, and they were arrested. Unlike the state police that did a chase and an innocent person is killed. We don't need a new building. We need new technology. We need boots on the ground. We need more police officers. They spend what, 10 minutes in the building? 10 minutes? I don't know why they can't start their shift from their driveway. I'm serious. With the technology we have, we don't need a new building. We can improve the one we have. I don't know, this culture in Livonia that we just got to tear everything down. Senior center, new senior center. 2 kilns could have went to the senior center. No, they were used. We had to get brand new kilns. The new furniture at the old senior center. No, we can't bring that. There's one person in this city that is pushing that culture, and you have to push back. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please state your record, or name for the record.
Denise Micah, Livonia. As part of the Vote No people, which I'm very proud of, thank you everybody that helped us along the way. We got a lot of questions when we were out on the streets and everything about what would make it, what would you do, what could we do to have it pass? And we said, well, it's too much money. There's so many reasons. And every step along the way that we kept going to 15, 20, 30,000 meetings, we saw the plan. Oh, but you're only going to vote for phase 3. Don't worry about it. Well, I'm sorry. I don't live using tunnel vision. I look at what's going on. And phase 4 was scary as heck. It was going to destroy everything, tear the library down, mess up that beautiful Brookfield Street, and destroy the wetlands and all those walkways that people I know walk through daily, all the paths in the woods. So we knew about all that, and we thought the police station as proposed was very, was a vanity project. Oh, that's what I've said to many people, so that's no surprise. So one of the things when we were campaigning, I was right at the corner of 5 in Farmington, and a fella came up and he had a bag. And we're standing there and we have like our purses on the side and everything, and we're like, oh, we realized that he was a person that just came from the police department and was released. And he's coming up and asking him, and I'm thinking, there is no way the people in Brookfield, I don't care if you build a fence, whatever, Berlin Wall, whatever, is that going to be good for those people? And we were scared right at 5 in Farmington, people coming out of the police department. So,
thank you very
5
much.
in Farmington.
Can you please state your name for the record?
Mike Mancini from Livonia, Michigan. I would like to say that, the bond proposal we had here, this last one, it was kind of underhanded, and I never came to a council meeting until then. I can see that the place gets a full house now here all the time. I want to thank you all for your service. I know you don't intend to do things wrong, but we have to listen to the people, obviously, and we have to be on the up and up. And I got to tell you, I'm in construction. I'm in, excavating, concrete, demolition, and personally, I don't care about wetlands. Personally, I don't care if you cut all the trees down. I'm not an environmentalist. But I will tell you, when you got to start excavating and putting in engineered fill, it is expensive to haul out a yard of soil and bring back a yard of soil, and then add the engineering costs on top of it. So I think the last bond proposal for the downtown, we had strike one, and the police suffered. Now we're going to have this here going on, and we're going to have strike two, and the police are going to suffer again. A community isn't a community without police, without good police, good fire responders, and schools. And if we miss on one of those, our community is going down the tubes. We have to work together on this. Obviously, everybody's coming up here telling you about, we shouldn't build there, we shouldn't build there. How about a geotechnical report? How about, coring that? Any good business is going to get the homework done before we get in there and start, because cost overruns, I'm on a job right now, they remodeled. Remodeling is not a good idea. Thank you all for your service. I appreciate you all. Let's work together.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Cindy Fleming, Livonia. Again, to piggyback on that, I spoke to some of you personally over the last couple weeks, but I didn't get to everybody. So I have a couple things that I just want to share to you as a group of a whole. I come to the meetings. I've been coming regularly for several years now for another cause, but we'll move on. So in these meetings, paying attention, going to informational meetings last year, I happened to meet a gentleman. His name is Mike Reiser, and he struck up a conversation with me as I was leaving one of the informational study meetings. And we had a discussion outside of the library looking at this campus. And I had said that I was concerned after attending one of the meetings. It was in March of last year. And I know about wetlands because I have some property on some. I've seen catastrophic flooding 3 times. So I know a little bit of what I'm looking for. So I drove down Brookfield and I looked. And I talked to some people in Brookfield, and they were concerned as well. But Mike Reiser said to me, after about 45 minutes discussion, very interesting man, that to build the Bennett Library, it was extremely expensive. There was a lot that had to go into it to put in that building. And so when we're looking at things, we should look at other things. I myself did bring that to the attention before any of this rolled out. That was last year. So it did happen. I did it. Another thing that I said is I also build in front of the current police department, cut through a service road to the blinking light. End of story. We have no more problems.
Thank you very much. Please state your name for the record.
Rhonda Snyder, Livonia, Michigan. First of all, I do want to address the paths. There are paths in the woods. I walk them all the time. You can't right now because it's flooded. So I walk them almost every single day. And it's just silly. I mean, they are so flooded that you have to walk around. There is one part which stays dry, but it's more near Kimberly Oaks. Secondly, my neighbor made himself a beautiful driveway. Well, guess what? All of that new cement, now we have Lake Snyder in front of our house. So just think about the people in Brookfield. You're going to cost them so much money on their insurance because they will have flooded basements. And when I'm in there, I can't tell you, I have pups. And when the police come, I'm not sure what they do, but they put their sirens on and they flash their lights. And we always jump because it's loud. So just think of what you're doing to our neighbors. Finally, well, actually, two things. I want to thank all of the people on Facebook that have really done their homework. And thank you very much for educating us. I'm a retired nurse. I have never worked in a brand new hospital. They just keep on redoing the floors. They make new ORs. And that's kind of a big deal. So I don't understand why we're making a museum instead of doing what we should do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have anybody else for audience communication? Okay. On this topic, though? Go ahead and state your name for the record.
There's a brief discussion if I've already spoken before. I haven't on this.
Go ahead.
Okay. Christopher Martin, a great state of Michigan. I'm in favor of revamping what we have over there, to be quite honest with you. And I know it was laughed at earlier, but in a lot of the southern states, the police officers take the car home. They shower at home, they put their uniform on, they get in the car that's in their driveway, and they go off to work. That's how they do it, okay? So I know we want to have certain things in that building, okay, to upgrade it, and in favor of that. Not necessarily in favor of knocking everything down all the time. So I'd like to revamp that building that we're currently in over there, because I do believe that can be done. Also, recently I took pictures, haven't had them developed yet, because I use an old camera, and they were doing core samples out there, and so I have the picture. The name was on the side, the door of the truck, and the two workers that were out there doing the core samples along the perimeter out there. So I will provide that when I get those pictures developed. So my thought on this is let's save a few dollars here and revamp what we have over there. The location is fantastic because it's right on the main street. You don't have to look for it. There are other areas where you do have to look for it because it's kind of like hidden. And so the location's fine. Upgrade the building a little bit, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please state your name for the record.
James Hooper, the wonderful city of Livonia. Obviously, a lot of discussion here, very passionate on the topic of the police. First responders, there's two elements to first responders. We also have our fire department, and I would just like to make the suggestion for your consideration, council members. Would it be worth it to actually look at taking care of the firefighters first? That was part of the $150 million millage that was brought up previously. And the firefighters have some actual real needs as well. When I remember campaigning for city council, nobody didn't want to take care of our first responders. But the fire department and the needs of the fire department was the least controversial aspect of the whole plan because it was just modifying the buildings that they were in. Now recently, I think it was in March, it was brought up that cancer is the #1 problem for firefighters, #1 cause of death. I think that was cited, I've seen it. So I think it might be worth it to look at getting a small win first for the city and its residents through that. And there's a great distrust between the administration and the residents right now. I would encourage you to look at, let's get a small win for the city and let's take care of our firefighters first and the modifications that were in the plan for that. And then I wouldn't be surprised, you never know, there could be federal funding available in the future that would be able to be utilized for the police department and those needs. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? Okay. So we'll move to actual public comment then.
You want me to take it back?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Hope you had fun.
Oh, that was great.
Okay, now we will move on to our last audience communication. If you have not spoken in the first audience communication, you're more than welcome to come down, speak for 3 minutes at a time, but it is nothing that was on the agenda already. Good evening, sir. You have 3 minutes. Name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, Jerry Kersinski, 19488 Bainbridge Avenue. I have a few items. First of all, I was thinking while we were sitting here listening to all the comments, including my own, there could be alternative locations for city facilities. We have a large number of empty buildings across the city, including commercial buildings that are not the Civic Center campus. So when you're looking at all facilities, that might be an appropriate alternative in the future. I was looking at the budget. We're authorized 190 persons for headcount for the police department and 94 authorized persons for firefighters. So we have approximately 30 officers that are vacant, according to comments made today. So that means that there's money in those personnel accounts for people. We also have, according to the budget, $19 million fund balance, 23% of the $76 million. I know some of that's already been allocated in other areas, but this building, into the building improvement fund balance, it's very low relative to the almost $100 million of capital repairs and improvements that are needed. We need a solution for that. So somebody has to sit down and bite the bullet, just like Livonia Public Schools did with their sinking fund and a number of other things. So that should be also something that I would look forward to having City Council address in the near future, not just any future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other audience communication? Council, can I get a motion?
Motion to adjourn. Support.
Motion by Tashnik, support by Brockway. We'll be back at 9:40 for the study.
Yeah, thanks for being the voice of reason.